Here's every woke male actor career flop explained. Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro is a cinematic legend, but in recent years he's been defined more by late-night political rants than memorable performances.
Hoffman?
Are you talking to me?
You tricked me!
Once the face of Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, he now drifts into forgettable comedies or dreary dramas that nobody bothers to watch. His presence, once electric, feels like a relic. Critics pretend he elevates projects, but audiences see a tired star wagging his finger instead of commanding the screen. Fans who wanted iconic roles got scolding speeches, and the result has been a steady erosion of his Hollywood legacy. Instead of aging gracefully, De Niro has become the cranky grandpa of the industry, cashing checks in films that disappear instantly.
Then we're going to narrow it down further from these two. This was your first debut, right?
That's
the big one.
yeah.
So let's just say Taxi Driver, okay?
Even his rare good performances are overshadowed by off-screen tirades, where his name trends more for angry sound bites than artistry. De Niro's reputation now rests more on politics than characters, proving even icons can outlive their relevance.
Thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best.
What once felt untouchable now feels like a lecture hall with bad lighting, and audiences simply don't show up anymore. Chris Evans. Chris Evans had it all: Marvel's superstardom, charisma, and global fame. But after retiring Captain America's shield, he stepped off the battlefield and onto Twitter, where he reinvented himself as Hollywood's moral overseer. Instead of building new franchises, Evans starred in projects nobody remembers, like thrillers that fizzled and rom-coms that landed with a thud. Lightyear was supposed to be his next big launch, but it was overshadowed by controversy and quickly forgotten. Audiences expected another bold leading role, but what they got instead was a string of safe, forgettable performances that blended into Hollywood's endless background noise. Fans who once adored him now roll their eyes when he surfaces with another sanctimonious message instead of a blockbuster. Evans didn't just leave Marvel, he left behind momentum, proving
I can't believe you took a picture of me while I was sleeping.
Not of you, of us!
I know you were a creep.
that a superhero costume can't protect a star from irrelevance once the audience feels lectured instead of entertained. His problem isn't that he lacks talent, is that every role since Marvel feels hollow, while every headline is about his opinions. Evans became the perfect example of how fast Hollywood's golden boy can fade. Evans turned Captain America's shield into a podium, and audiences decided they were done listening to sermons disguised as movies.
Everyone has kids and,
Everyone except
this guy.
Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo made the Hulk lovable, but once the green faded, he leaned harder into activism than acting. Every interview became a campaign speech, every project a lecture thinly disguised as entertainment. His post-Marvel outing struggled. Self-important dramas nobody streamed, and documentaries cheered by critics but ignored by audiences. Fans who admired his sensitive take on Bruce Banner got tired of his constant moralizing. Online chatter now paints him as a scold rather than a star, with charisma swallowed by endless commentary. Ruffalo hasn't vanished, but he's stalled. Hollywood keeps him around for ensemble credibility, but won't build a movie around him. The Hulk was once unstoppable, but Ruffalo's post-franchise career shows that even superheroes can't smash through audience fatigue when messaging overwhelms the magic. He's proof that playing a beloved character can only carry you so far when audiences associate your name with soapbox speeches instead of standout roles. Ruffalo stopped being the actor you root for and became the one you tolerate. His career arc proves even a giant green rage monster is more appealing than Ruffalo's constant lectures on humanity. John Boyega. John Boyega's Star Wars debut as Finn should have launched him into stardom. Instead, it cemented him as one of the loudest voices in Hollywood's culture wars.
Is John Boyega Nigerian? What kind of question is that? Can you not see the back of my head, the shape of my head?
Boyega openly trashed how Disney handled his character, winning applause from some but alienating others. When the saga ended, so did the big offers. His attempts at leading roles outside the galaxy fizzled, and prestige TV work failed to ignite. Even when he did land solid roles, the projects themselves felt more like side notes than genuine star vehicles, leaving audiences underwhelmed and disconnected. Interviews focused more on his grievances than his craft, turning him into a symbol of industry complaints rather than a bankable star. Fans who once rooted for Finn now mostly remember Boyega for sparring with the franchise that made him famous. His story is a cautionary tale. Being vocal may win headlines, but it rarely secures lasting roles. Today, his career feels stalled, with his biggest legacy tied not to a character or performance, but to constant reminders of how unhappy he was playing it.
Me knowing that, I'm like, cool.
Will you play the character again?
At this point, I'm cool off it. I'm good off it.
Boyega went from potential megastar to professional grievance. Boyega became the rare star defined more by complaints than by characters, and audiences drifted away with each interview. Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher was set to break out as Cyborg in the DC universe, but instead his career became defined by a feud. After clashing with Warner Brothers over Justice League reshoots, Fisher made headlines, but studios grew wary. Sympathy online didn't translate into momentum, and his acting resume stalled. Instead of being remembered for superhero potential, he became a case study in how controversy can overshadow talent. Fisher's name is still tied more to hashtags than performances, a sharp fall from what could have been a cornerstone franchise role. Hollywood loves a comeback story, but for Fisher, the narrative shifted from rising star to career caution. Cyborg was supposed to be the launchpad.
You are not a monster. It's weird that you thought it meant me.
Instead, it became the dead end, proving that without consistent work, activism alone doesn't keep an actor's career alive. Fisher's biggest performance wasn't on screen, it was in interviews, and audiences didn't buy a ticket for that. Audiences forgot Cyborg faster than Warner Bros. Did, leaving Fisher trapped in a feud that swallowed his career whole.
Yeah, I think they got me. What do you think?
It was sinister. Wow.
Billy Eichner. Billy Eichner made his name yelling at strangers, but Hollywood discovered that shtick doesn't translate to the big screen.
Seems like a good guy. I've never been that thrilled by his acting, but seems like a well-intentioned person.
Great ass. It was great in Troy.
You're disgusting.
His rom-com Bros was marketed as groundbreaking, but Eichner's pre-release lectures put audiences off. When the film tanked, he blamed moviegoers instead of the material, coming across as bitter rather than funny. Instead of trailblazer, he became a punchline, proof that finger-wagging doesn't sell tickets. His brash persona works in short bursts, but stretched over a feature film, it grated. Eichner's shot at leading man status evaporated, and now his career is more remembered for the flop than the laughter. He wanted to be Hollywood's next icon. Instead, he became a cautionary tale of overhyped representation, sinking under the weight of self-importance. Bros was supposed to make him the face of progress. Instead, it made him the face of how audiences reject being guilt-tripped at the box office. His brand of loud finally went silent. Even comedy fans admitted the only funny thing about Eichner's big break was how quickly it collapsed.
Oh, they're fighting? You like that? Hey. I can be tough like your boys. Oh, that's what you like, huh?
Hey, what's going on?
Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf was once Hollywood's rebel golden boy with blockbusters and indie acclaim. But scandals, lawsuits, and bizarre stunts derailed everything. Projects meant to showcase his artistry, like Honey Boy,
for the popular song Elastic Heart, caught plenty of criticism due to his dancing with a 12-year-old in the video, which brought up accusations and disgust,
were drowned out by tabloid chaos and allegations of abuse. Instead of cementing himself as a complex actor with range, LaBeouf doubled down on shock value antics that alienated fans and confused industry insiders alike. What should have been a second act as an indie auteur became a spectacle of self-destruction. His political rants and performance art drew ridicule, painting him as pretentious rather than profound.
Things like this is why porn is interesting to me. Porn is interesting to me because they actually
Studios backed away and audiences stopped rooting for him. LaBeouf went from promising star to Hollywood pariah, a living reminder that talent doesn't excuse chaos. His downfall shows that being reckless and being woke both alienated the very audience that once made him bankable. Even his rare flashes of brilliance are overshadowed by personal implosions, leaving fans convinced that his career isn't just stalled, it's permanently derailed. LaBeouf didn't burn out gracefully, he torched his reputation, and Hollywood walked away. LaBeouf's trajectory is Hollywood's ultimate warning. Waste goodwill, and even blockbusters can't save you from obscurity. Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet was hailed as the actor of his generation, but hype quickly outran substance. From Call Me By Your Name to endless fashion campaigns, Hollywood pushed him as the cultural voice of youth. Yet many of his projects, like The King and Bones and all, felt more like art house lectures than compelling films. His performances often leaned heavily on mood and aesthetic, but rarely gave audiences the sense of depth or weight they expected from a supposed generational talent. Even Dune, despite its success, sparked debate about whether he had the charisma to carry such a massive franchise. Online, he became less star and more meme, mocked as Hollywood's attempt to manufacture relevance. Chalamet hasn't vanished, but the gap between his press and his performances is glaring. He's no longer the future of acting, just another influencer-type star whose career is defined more by image than impact. Hollywood keeps telling us he's a phenomenon, but audiences quietly wonder if he's just another pretty face the industry insists we should care about. The hype machine keeps running, but audiences are already looking for someone new to believe in.